Hey guys, this is Feeding Frenzy 91, and I'm bringing you some news on the Sony side this time. Basically, Sony has admitted that it's the underdog in the United States, right? And they have also admitted that having Microsoft there is good because competition is healthy. It is healthy now. I'll explain how competition is healthy later, but right now I'm just going to say what Sony said, and then I'm going to try to say my views on it. Because, anyway, let's just start. They say that they never took Microsoft lightly. They said that they acknowledge the PS4. That's going to be a fight for the PS4 to make the dominant console in North America, right? But they said it's all. They said, let me say a quote from them. It's always good, and this is coming from Sony's worldwide studio boss. It's always great to have two companies fighting each other. People like it. It creates a news story. The games media will cover any platform launch, but the general media, a big Sony versus Microsoft battle, is a bigger story. Microsoft launching Xbox One in the same year, the same Christmas, people compare them. Lots of news stories are written. So, end quote. Basically, he was saying that, they're all this competition that they're the underdog. They're gonna have to rise up from the ashes and stuff. Personally, I don't see the PS4 being the underdog. I see the PS when the PS3 first came out. Yes, it was. The PS4 right now, but just judging on the pre-orders, alone, right now it seems like the PS4 is the top alpha dog and the Xbox One is the underdog that has to climb its way out of the pit to make sure to try and get out of there because Xbox One and also Sony was glad that Xbox did make those changes. They say the worldwide Sony boss says that he was glad that they did make the changes, right? I'm not so sure he was, but that's what he said. And it is true, Xbox has made changes, and that has caused people to come back to it. But I still feel like Sony is the big alpha dog, and Xbox will have to be the one climbing its way in North America. Just judging on the pre-orders, that's all I'm basing it on right now. Anyway, let me talk about I think about what Sony said. Well, what it's more about what Sony didn't say that kind of shows its lack of because the game companies always try to say yeah they recognize Nintendo and stuff, and then but the fact that Sony says it's great when two companies fight each other, the fact that it's great to have competition, it really shows that they don't even recognize Nintendo anymore as competition. Now, do you guys think this is going to be like the Wii? Because that basically same thing happened with the Wii when Sony was just kind of seeing Xbox 360 as the competition, and then what happens? The Wii blows both of them away in when it comes to sales. And I'm just saying that would be funny if it happened again. That neither Sony nor Microsoft acknowledge Nintendo's presence as competition, and then Nintendo just sneaks up behind. But once again, this isn't about Nintendo. It's more about Sony. It's just that it's strange that Sony kind of in its own way said we don't think Nintendo is competition. They were kind of dissing Nintendo during this whole article as they're complimenting Microsoft because every compliment to Microsoft was a diss to Nintendo since they didn't even mention it. It's like if there are three teams left, and you say, "Well, I'm really looking forward," and all you do is talk about one of the teams, and then even though you're not saying anything bad about the other team, you're kind of not acknowledging that they're even there. It's like you're saying, "Oh, yeah, we already beaten them. We're done." Sony is basically saying they've already beaten Nintendo. I'm not sure if they have, but I'm just saying it's kind of funny that them saying this whole article how Sony is this challenge for them means that Nintendo has no chance. I mean, Nintendo is not mentioned. I don't see Nintendo mentioned in this article at all. And to me, that just screams out, we don't think Nintendo is a challenge. And I just think Sony may be making a mistake. Personally, not seeing Nintendo as a. I just hope that they're not making the same mistake twice. They did this with the Wii, and if they do this again, then I feel like they're gonna suffer like almost not the same thing the PS3 had, obviously, because pre-orders for the PS4 are pretty good, and the honestly the PS4 looks like it's gonna sell a lot. Okay, when PS3 was announced at E3 for the $600 price point for the good model and $500 for the bad or one, that was kind of okay. You don't want anyone to buy your console. I mean, that's what it was. It was just like because even it was especially back then. I mean, look at it. The PS4 right now is $399. Um, but back then, 10 years. I don't want to. Was it 10? No, it was more like 7 years ago when things were cheaper. They wanted to charge more. I mean, come on, that didn't make sense. Not to me. But and obviously didn't make sense to the general mass who didn't buy it either. So I just hope that Sony I mean, it'd be bad for Sony or Microsoft to really strike Nintendo out, as they've been doing for the last, they've been trying to do, especially with Sony. But it seems like to me personally that Sony, with this article, is kind of saying subtly, I don't know whether it was intentional, but subtly, whether intentional or not, they're saying that they already count Nintendo out, and and Nintendo is not like anything in this console war, which I think would be a mistake on their force to underestimate Nintendo for the second time. Okay, because with the Wii, both Sony and Microsoft obviously underestimated the power of motion control. So with the Wii U, I hope they don't underestimate whatever else Nintendo's got behind their sleeves. I honestly don't know. I mean the touchpad is really good when you use it when it's used, but it's not being used properly right now. But we'll see. Only time will really tell with these consoles which one happens. No one really can predict what sales are going to be based on pre-orders, because if you could, then the Wii U should technically be at about 7 million sales right now based on pre-orders, because the Wii U killed with pre-orders. I mean, people can say what they want about it. It did kill with pre-orders. Sony's killing with pre-orders now at the PS4, and Xbox One is getting back up there, but you can't judge how a competition is going to go. But I still don't like. I mean, Sony. At least they didn't say anything bad about Nintendo. But I still don't like how they basically counted Nintendo out of this article. This whole article, they're talking about how Microsoft will be their competition and stuff. And the fact that Nintendo is mentioned is kind of like saying, oh, they're not competition to us. I think that if Sony truly feels like Nintendo isn't a competition, that will be a downfall. Underestimating is never. I like to say this: never underestimate the power of being underestimated. When you're underestimated, people don't expect certain things, and when it happens, people get caught by surprise and they can't react as quickly. When Sony and Microsoft underestimated the Wii's motion controls, they were caught by surprise at how popular it was, and they weren't able to react as quickly as they should have. If they hadn't underestimated the Wii at the beginning, they would have probably been able to come out with motion controls themselves, which a lot sooner than they did, and counteract the Wii's popularity. The Move and the Kinect may have come out maybe 2 years earlier and may have been a lot more successful than they were. So never underestimate the power of being underestimated. And if Nintendo is underestimated by both companies again, it actually is in a position where it's able to catch both by surprise, which would actually really be in their favor. Anyway, I've gone on a bit about this video. Just kind of ending it saying that Sony and Xbox One, even though Microsoft hasn't, as far as I've seen, shouldn't underestimate Nintendo. Though, we'll just see. Only time will tell. Thank you for watching this video. Like, comment, subscribe, and God bless.